Hello everyone, it is Esther here and welcome back to my channel, which is now 1 year old, my dudes. So basically, 1 year ago I didn't make this channel. I posted my first video, which was my favourite horror movies. It is a very awkward video if you want to go back and watch it. However, today I'm going to be basically doing an update because I have seen way more horror movies since then than I have now, because basically every movie that was on that list originally was just every horror movie I had seen, because I had not seen that many. So now that I've had like a varied selection experience, whatever you want to call it, I've seen quite a few horror movies now. My list is way bigger and a bit more diverse, and I have found some proper solid favourites now. So I'm quite excited to do this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's just get started. So this video is going to be split into 3 categories. First of all, it will be my favourites that were not in the original video. The second category is the same as the last video, so the movies that I still love to this day that were in the first video, and I'm not going to be explaining those too much, so if you want to know my thoughts then you should go and watch the first video. And the third one is the sort of honourable mentions category, and these are movies that stuck in my mind, but I wouldn't say they were my favourite horror movies, if you know what I mean. So let's just get started, shall we? I think I'm going to start with the category of the same films that were in the first video, and those movies are Raw, Crimson Peak, Silent Hill and Orphan. Raw mainly being because I love how unique and weird it is. It's basically just about a girl who's a cannibal and she goes to a vet school and really weird shit happens in it. In Crimson Peak, it's a historical horror and it's about a girl whose father dies and she goes to live in this weird place called Crimson Peak with her new husband, and she finds out some really gross and strange secrets. Silent Hill is based off a video game and it's about a woman whose daughter is having weird dreams, so she goes to Silent Hill to see if she can find out what's wrong with her daughter, but instead she finds out some really messed up shit. Then last of all, Orphan, which honestly I probably wouldn't have made this channel without watching that movie, if this makes sense, because I think this film sparked my love for horror, and I know it's not really horror, it's sort of just a bit murderous. However, my channel is named after the main character in this movie, Esther, and I just love this film so much. It's one of my favourite movies ever, not just horror movies. So now let's get into my favourite horror movies that were not in the first video, so these are new ones. Now, these are not in any particular order, I just really love these movies, and some of them I do prefer more than others. However, I don't really have a specific order to them. So let's just start with probably one of the best ones in this video, and that is The Ring, the 2002 version. So, first of all, context, I have not seen the original Japanese movie or any of the other Ring movies apart from The Ring 2. So please don't get annoyed with me that I haven't seen the original, because honestly I've heard a lot of people say that the remake is either better or just as good as the original, so I will watch it eventually. However, the American Ring is so good. I love it so freaking much. Honestly, I love it so much that I literally want to name my daughter Samara. I want to get a tattoo of Samara crawling out of the TV. I'm just so obsessed with this film. It's fucking mental. I love it. It's basically like a mystery horror because the main character is trying to find out the secrets behind this videotape that kills people 7 days after they've watched it, and she ends up going to some strange places, finding out some weird ass secrets, and eventually almost finding nothing about why Samara is the way she is. She's just gonna kill you in 7 days, pretty much. The next movie is Final Destination 3. So I've only just started watching the Final Destination films. I've only seen 3 out of the 5 that are out, and once I've seen all 5, I'm going to do a video where I rank all of the deaths. But honestly, so far, Final Destination 3 was just way, way better than the first 2. The first one, it sort of sets up the structure of these movies. Basically, a character has a premonition that them and a lot of other people are going to die. Then they stop that action from happening, and after that, everyone who was going to die dies in really elaborate ways in the same order that they would have died in the accident that the main character predicted, if that makes sense. So basically all of the movies follow this same structure. I'm not sure about 4 and 5, but I'm assuming they do. So the movies kind of have like no purpose except to solidify the idea that death has a plan and we're all going to die at some point, whether it be from burning to death in a sunbed or getting nail gunned in the face. Who knows, honestly. And I think that Final Destination 3 is one of my favourites, mainly because of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I love her so much. She plays Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and yeah, I fucking love her. She's amazing. And also because the deaths were super inventive in this one. Honestly, it's one of my favourites just because of the sunbed death. That was so good. And also because of the new idea that they introduced where the main character took pictures of everyone at the start of the movie, then the premonition happened and the accident was stopped, and then if she looked at the pictures she could kind of predict how they would die. I think it's definitely worth watching, and honestly just watch all of those movies, because if you want to see people die in super weird and funny ways, then you should definitely watch the Final Destination series. The next film I want to talk about is The Cabin in the Woods. Now, I didn't really expect much from this movie. I mean, I'd heard Possessed by Horror, one of my favourite horror channels, apart from Spooky Astronauts. Possessed by Horror, she talked about it a little bit in one of her videos. I can't remember which one, to be honest. And it sounded kind of interesting, so I saw that it was on Netflix and I checked it out. And it was way more than I had ever expected, honestly. Essentially, it's just about this group of friends who go to a cabin in the woods, and they find some spooky stuff there, and really weird stuff starts happening, but then they realise that the whole thing was planned. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that it's definitely worth watching because it is super, super unexpected, and you're just wondering what the hell is happening the whole time, and then you find out about the really weirdness of the film, and honestly it's just so amazing, so worth it. The final scene is amazing. It's one of my favourite final scenes in movies. It is so good, and I would recommend it to everyone. The next movie is Helter Skelter. Now, I don't know if I would classify this as a horror. Well, it's not necessarily scary, it's just really disturbing, and it sort of messes with your mind, and it made me more upset, and I don't know, it made me quite depressed, really, and that is the Japanese movie Helter Skelter. There is another movie called Helter Skelter, which is about Charles Manson, but that is not this. I'm talking about the Japanese movie about a girl who gets full body plastic surgery and has to deal with the consequences of being famous and her body like deteriorating, and it is terrifying. I absolutely love movies about fashion and the industry and why it's all completely corrupt and awful and why I hate it, and this movie just really solidified that for me. Basically, this girl, she used to be quite chubby and conventionally unattractive, but then she gets full body plastic surgery and she is the most popular model in Japan and everyone loves her, but then her body just starts to crumble and fall apart, and it's I think it's more of a representation of her mental state falling apart under the pressure of having to stay skinny and beautiful all the time. And honestly, it is such a dark movie, and the ending kind of annoyed me a bit. I wish that it had ended at a different point, but yeah, it was really good, and I absolutely loved it, and I think you should definitely watch it if you like movies like The Neon Demon or Perfect Blue. The next movie is Us, and this movie came out this year, and upon watching it, I actually hated it. Like, full on hated this movie. I was just like, what did I just watch? It was awful. I don't know what's happening. Why? Why? Just why? But then on the bus ride home, I was thinking about it, and it is a masterpiece. Oh my god. Especially the ballet scene, that was so powerful. And once I finally thought about the twist and put it together in my head, and I understood why things happened and what really went on in the story, it all started to make sense to me. And there was a theory about the movie representing the class system. So there's the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. And the lower class are the sort of replicas of the middle class, and it shows about how they're silenced and they never get heard and they never get seen. And yeah, it was just amazing, really, really good. And I love how Jordan Peele is so good at putting social commentaries in his movies. This one more subtly than Get Out, but honestly, so, so good, and I cannot wait for his next film. The next one is The Conjuring 2, and I actually thought The Conjuring 2 was better than the first Conjuring. I enjoyed the first one, but it was kind of confusing because there were so many ghosts and so many different spirits in this one house that it was a bit confusing. The scares were a little bit weak. Some of them were pretty good though, especially the wanna play hide and clap one, but I just had more fun watching the second Conjuring. I don't know why. I just thought it was really good. I liked the nun in it. I haven't seen the nun yet, the spin-off movie, but I liked Valak. I liked the weird creepy old man voice. I liked the scene where where there's crosses all over the room. Yes, it was very good, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I can't really say that much about it because I've kind of forgotten, but I just remember really enjoying it, and that's why it's on this list. And the last one in my absolute favourites is Creep, and to be honest, I would put Creep and Creep 2 in this list because they're both amazing, but I'm just going to say Creep because it's easier. And basically this movie is about a dude who gets called to record this man. This man wants him to record a movie for his son because he is about to die. And honestly, you will never expect what is happening in this movie. You will oh my god, it's just so weird, so unexpected, and it's found footage. I know a lot of people hate found footage, but trust me, Creep and Creep 2, absolute masterpieces. I love them so much, and I cannot wait for Creep 3. The last section of films that I would like to talk about is my almost favourites or honourable mentions, whatever you want to call them. And for those, I have Sinister, The People Under the Stairs, and February. The Sinister is there because I really enjoyed the story. However, I felt that some of the jump scares were a bit weak and a bit stupid, and that just really annoyed me and took me out of the story. However, very enjoyable film. The next one, The People Under the Stairs. This one wasn't really a horror, I guess. I don't know. It was just a bit creepy and disturbing. Super weird. I would not recommend it if you are upset by movies about child abuse and stuff like that, because it is bad. It's really bad. But basically it's about this kid who breaks into this house because he wants to steal some gold to pay for his rent for his family, and he ends up finding a whole lot more than he thought. Yeah, it's really weird, but watch it, please. Please go watch it, especially if you love old films, because this is quite old. I think it's 80s or 90s. And the last one is February, which is also known as The Blackcoat's Daughter. I don't know why they changed the name. This movie was really, really good. I loved it. Some people hate it for some reason, and I kind of understand because it's a bit slow and it's a bit boring at points, and sometimes you don't really know what's going on. But I really enjoyed it. I found it interesting. That's why it's on my honorable mentions, because it was a good horror movie that didn't need jump scares or much dialogue really to make sense, and I really liked it. Yeah, it was good. Hail Satan. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys later. I am so sorry that this video is up so late, by the way. I've been really busy with a lot of things like work and NCS and holidays, and oh my god, I've just had no time. So yeah, this video is late. The anniversary was actually on the 2nd of August. So I'm a bit late to this, but yeah, happy anniversary for me, I guess. I have a total of 25, I think, subscribers. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.